I didn't know that.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we threw it together real quick, and I mean, it was thrown together a little quick, and I didn't, could have came out a little bit better. I was still getting used to producing outside of the Uptown family, and
Right.
I could have got it a little bit tighter. So those two records always bothered me a little bit.
Do you say those records bother you? Do you often go back and listen to your old stuff that you've done just for, just to see how it sounds, or, you get an urge to listen to it?
Years later, I do, but, and I, you know what, and it's just me, I'm like, I can hear every little thing that I would have changed, that's just who I am. But after that record is done, even when I hear it on the radio, I turn the radio off. I turn it off. It's like, I've heard that song 1,000 times, I don't hear it again. So, and with me, I'm always ready for the next one, so after that record's done, I'm so into the next one.
Yeah.
I really never pay attention to that stuff.
I know Al B's Private Times and the Whole Nine came out around 92, around 1990, actually. And, what was the singles off there? Misunderstanding and, I can't remember the singles off there, but that was also a slick album. I know music was gradually changing a little bit around that time. It started to get a harder edge. And I think what happened, I mean, looking back, first of all, the album was too big. It was like, to me, the first one was 9. We should have, went for 10, 11, tell the story, and everything would be consistent. And that second album, to me, wasn't that. You had some good records on there. You didn't have great records like, the first album. Mm-hmm.
But you had good records, and then you had a lot of records, to me, that just got in the way. See, you didn't have any of that on the first album,
Right.
You had records that on the second album was just, it was like, okay, I could do without it. So it wasn't consistent to me. And then at that time, what happened was, me and Al, we weren't working as close as we did on the first album. He had other production jobs, I had other production jobs. So I pretty much just stopped in, laid my track down. Actually he got Casey and JoJo Haley to help him with melodies. Like, he did all the writing, but he didn't lay down the melodies. The Tevin Campbell project also. That was JoJo. And I'll give that more credit to JoJo for that. Al would have the words, and then JoJo would sing it, and then Al would kind of follow where JoJo was going.
So JoJo demoed those Tevin Campbell records?
There you go. Yeah. Unfortunately, brother didn't get the credit, but I'm giving him the credit now. JoJo Haley, he pretty much, he would pick up the melody of my track, and Al would just throw him on the mic, and he would just lay it out.
Man.
Yeah. And then for Tevin to be able to match it, I was like, whoa, this kid is pretty good.
Yeah, Tevin is, those tracks you did on that album are classic too. Goodbye, Alone With You is especially one of my favorite songs, and Confused.
Yeah. Thank you very much. You know what? Those are records that I go back to listen to and say, you know what? I don't see nothing wrong with those records.
Yeah, that Alone, I'm trying to figure out why no young R&B cat ain't tried to re-sing that.
Yeah.
Because that still, I think you could put that, all those records on that album that you did, I think you could put a couple of those out today.
Yeah.
And they'll still be hits.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Talking about like a Mario or somebody.
Yeah, Alone With You, man.
That's right. That is right. So, yeah, we had that was our little formula. That's where one guy wasn't doing all or everything of anything. We brought in people to help us out, and it was always a family thing. That's the way it came out best.
Man. Okay, I'm I'm looking at some other stuff that you've done. I see you did some stuff with Jeremy Jordan and Billy Lawrence. How did those projects come about? The Billy Lawrence is probably the only one that I haven't heard that song.
Okay, well, let me start with Billy. Billy, I was brought in, let me see, she was on East West, and she was signed through Sylvia Rohn and Merlin Bob, and I've known them since my first days in the business. And they pretty much had the whole project done with producer named Kevin Dean, another one right from the family, really talented guy. And they didn't have the single. So Kevin, and it wasn't Billy's manager, George Harrell, no relation to Andre, they said, yo, we need two singles. And they said, just get the track up because, Billy is a writer. Billy is tight, and arranger and everything. And, she would sing the songs to me on my answer machine. And I would get home and I would take it off the cassette and then I would do the track so that when she got to the house, the track was ready to go. She was ready to sing.
Man.
And very, very talented writer, arranger. She's just so smooth. She was a pleasure to work with. And, it wasn't her fault that the things didn't really blow up because the labels were going through a lot of stuff at her time. But I think she did a second album with the All Star and those guys, and she just never got her fair due because the girl is really talented.